Okay, well, it's very, very lovely to meet you, and I'd like to welcome Daniel Lund to Kindred Ponderings. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you're in Denmark, close to
Yeah,
Copenhagen, is that right?
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Oh, great, great. Well, it's great to have you here. I'm in Sydney, so I know we're quite far away, but it's very great to connect over the oceans and continents with you tonight. So I'll just get into it. I kind of wanted to just find out if you could just tell me a little bit about yourself first, so that we can know a bit more about you and your background.
Yeah. So my name is Daniel. I'm 35 and I live in Copenhagen. I grew up in Denmark, not in Copenhagen, but a part of Denmark. And I was born in Hungary in 1990. And I have my day job is I'm a team leader for an NGO that saves animals in Denmark, and then I have a side project where I have my own business as well.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So you were like with the Hungary connection. So were you born in Hungary or
Yeah, I was
yeah.
born there, and quite soon after I was born, I went to an orphanage where I lived for 2 years before I was adopted to Denmark.
Oh
So I
wow.
grew up in Denmark.
Okay.
Yeah,
And was that orphanage in Denmark or in Hungary?
in Hungary.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's really fascinating. And is that do you like I suppose you would have been very, very little at that time. So do you have any
Yeah.
actual memories of being in the orphanage?
No, I've seen some pictures from when my adoptive parents was down there. They had to go by, I think, 2 times to first be assessed, and then later they got to pick me up. So the only memory I have is pictures that I've seen. But I lived there for 2 years, so right from
Mm.
birth, so I was two.
Oh wow. Yeah. And when you like growing up with your adoptive parents, did you always know that you were adopted?
Yeah, it's always been out there, and we have talked openly about it. I don't remember any time where it was a secret. So that have been really nice to have that communication with them, so I could ask questions, and especially as a young child, you don't really mind it. You probably don't understand it really, but as you
Mm.
grow up and get older, you have questions about. You begin to see that you don't look like your parents, or
Mm.
you act in a different way sometimes, and then you begin to ask questions about that, and that has always been an open conversation. I have a
Mm.
older sister that's also adopted from Hungary as well. We're not
Mm.
biological; it's two different orphanage. So it's always been an open topic. Yeah.
Mm. And is that quite common for an experience from Hungary that you are in an orphanage in the early
Um, I,
days?
yeah, I would say, because first of all, it's a bit it's it's an alternative place to adopt from. Most of the adoption happens from, I would say, more the east and to the Nordic European countries. So it's a bit different that it's from Hungary, and it's in the early 90s. There was a lot of political issues in that country back then. A lot of There was a lot of people that had it hard with no jobs, and the money wasn't good and all that kind of thing. So there was a lot of people, young kids, that was in orphanage at the time.
Mm.
Um, so I would see, I haven't met anyone else that, except my sister, that
Mm.
had that was adopted from Hungary. But I've met others but that was more like India or the Eastern countries.
Mm. Yeah. And have you been to Hungary in your
in my adult life,
Yeah, yeah. Have you been back, I suppose?
I haven't been back for real. I had I was driving through, so not because I wanted to. That was not the destination. I had to go someplace else. Um, so actually, no. I would say no.
Mm.
Yeah, I haven't.
Mm.
I've thought a lot about it and have a lot of summer vacations was planned to go there. I never did though, but yeah, there's a lot of history I wanna dig into.
Mm. And I suppose the culture would be quite different between Denmark and Hungary
It
as
is.
well.
Yeah, it's a bit different. It's still Europe, but it is the East or yeah, Eastern Europe, and it's a bit different the way they live their life there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. And did you have a lot of information about your adoption growing up?
I had basics, so I have my birth certificate, and I have some letters from the orphanage, from the people who were taking care of us. So that's basically what I have, and also I of course we have the papers that my adoptive parents have to fill out um, to application and all that
Mm.
to but in the papers I have from Hungary, there is some information. I have the name of my biological mother and also my biological father. I have the hospital that I was born in, and there's also a bit about her relationship with the hospital that she'd been there a couple of times before. My biological mother had been there a couple of times before, probably with giving birth to other children's or other children. It's fairly basic, but I have something
Mm.
I could use if I wanted to go more in that direction. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Well, that would be, I don't, were you, have you been tempted um, to, to do any searching or um, to try and find your biological parents?
It comes up now and again. I would say yes and no because I think that of course there's questions about where I'm from, what is my roots and all that, but at the same time I have a feeling that it really doesn't matter because it's like when I grew up I got a lot of love and I adore and love my adoptive parents. So if I should reach out and find my biological mother or father, it will be more of a just a to 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 see them or to know, or maybe I remember on the COVID, I got this feeling that I should let them know that that I'm good. You know, if they are
Mm.
wondering like how is he doing, so I felt I had this responsibility to kind of figure out who they were and tell them I'm good, I'm fine, I have a good life. um but then again, you know, it's like it's for me it's a two-way thing because one, I have, yeah, I want to I want to meet them, and I feel some kind of responsibility to do that because I have maybe I know I have the resources to do it. But on the other side, I'm also like it kind of like their responsibility because it's
Mm.
like those were that were the people who gave me up for whatever reason, and I'm sure it's because that's the story that I have created, but I'm sure it's because they couldn't provide for me or couldn't give me the life that they thought I should have.
Mm.
Again, because of the country, and it's in the 1990s where it was really hard in that area of the world.
Mm.
So um, yeah,
Yeah.
what was your question
It
again?
is, yeah, no, I suppose just whether you were kind of, tempted to try and find them or had you search for them. But I think, that predicament, a little bit of, who who takes the first, who makes the first move, because it
Yeah,
might be that, is it, you because you have the resources to do it, or them because they were the adults and making those decisions. And yeah, it is hard um, to navigate that and know, whether it's for you to search or for them to search for you. But I
yeah,
think you've
and
yeah.
I would say that it's also I my name is different from back then because my Lund last name is Danish Swedish last name or surname, I think you call it. So they would be hard for them to figure out because the adoption
Mm,
agency is not allowed to say anything to the biological parent, as I understand it. When I
yeah.
turned 18, I had the permission to go and see that. But the way it works, as I understand it, is I have to reach out to the Hungarian government and say who I am, and they have to go to the parent and say, "Do you wanna, or can you, are you interested in?"
Mm,
Uh, because I've always also thought about just taking a car and driving down there and just beginning to search. It could be really a fun trip, but also I have the information. I have the name of the
mm,
biological mother, so
yeah.
it would be harder for them to figure out where I'm at and what is my identity today.
Mm, yeah. Did were you born Daniel?
Yeah,
Right. Yeah. So your
but my
first
surname
name's,
has
yeah.
changed.
Your
Yeah,
first name, they would only have the first name, which is very hard to
yeah,
find, like,
exactly.
where are you? And yeah, no. And
Yeah.
that um it is like, it's very lucky to have all of those names. Like, if you've, wanted to do it later, that having that is often people don't have even that amount of information. So
Mm.
that is good. And is it almost that kind of, if you went the government path, you almost need the permission for them to reach out to your biological parents to see whether they would accept you approaching them? But if you just went there and drove there yourself, you could do it. If you kind of bypass the government, you can kind of do what you want because you already have the names.
Yeah, I that's the way I understand it. And before this interview, I had to go back to some of the papers just to make sure that I had all the facts. But I saw that social security number. I was given one by when I was born. It's the first time that I see it. I haven't actually seen it before. So so that makes it really easy actually for them to track it down because I have sent them the name of the hospital I was born in and the name of my biological mother. It then turned out that especially this country's um, what do you say department for whoever takes care of that is a bit hard to work with. They're not so glad to give out information. They're a bit secretive about it. I don't know why, but I've heard from other uh, people in different, not adoptive, but just want to reach out to parents that live there. That is a bit hard. So that's why
Mm.
I came up with I could just go there. Who's going
Yeah,
to stop
yeah,
me?
yeah, yeah. Oh, it's exciting. Well, if that's the path you go down. But yeah, I suppose there's, you've got time. You can still think about it, and
Yeah.
see what you want to do.